Hey guys, welcome to another Storytime video. Today I am going to tell you the story, which by the way I am in a different spot and I have a little bit of a different setup because I've been trying to do the videos in our office and our office is currently being used by somebody else to play video games, and I don't want the distraction or my thoughts of somebody else being there while I'm doing the story time. It's a little easier when nobody else is in the room, so that's what's happening. I'm in my bedroom right now. I don't know if you can see it. I kind of looked before, but I have a nice little background up here technically, but it's probably too high for you guys to see. But there's a thing on the wall that says, love you yesterday, love you still, always have, always will. Anyway, that's adorable. But today's story, it's actually about the time that I ignored several red flags, I guess you could say. So there was this time in college, I actually met my husband through an online dating site, but there was a time in college where, well, throughout college, I dated a lot of people, or met a lot of different guys online, separately of course, and went on dates and talked to guys and stuff. So this guy, and the guy I'm talking about in this story, if I can say his name, his first name, it's not a huge deal. He's probably never going to see this video. And if he does, it's whatevs. Actually, I don't know. What was his name? Charlie, I think. I think that was actually his name. Charlie, was that right? I don't know if Charlie's right. We're gonna say it was Charlie. Not my cat Charlie, and if his name was Charlie, I definitely didn't name Charlie, my cat, after him. I didn't even name him after the Charlie that I watch on YouTube. But anyway, so there's this, we'll say his name was Charlie because I don't remember his name. If that wasn't it, I don't remember his name. But I met this guy online, and I was still in the phase at that point saying that I didn't care what a guy looked like. He didn't have to look super handsome as long as I liked his personality. So this guy fit that little scenario. He wasn't super good looking, but I liked his personality and apparently didn't really realize how he was and stuff. I was just looking for a guy. I don't want to say I was desperate, but I was like, you know what, he may not be the cutest ever, but he might turn out to be a great guy. So, I just kind of gave a lot of guys the benefit of the doubt in those kind of scenarios. But anyway, this guy, he wasn't very good looking. I think I had seen a couple of pictures or something online of him, at least on the dating site. I talked to him for 2 weeks online and maybe on the phone, and eventually decided to go, and he lived, I don't remember what town it was, but it was like probably at least an hour or 45 minutes away from where I lived, which at the time was in Bluffton. Excuse me, because I was going to college at Bluffton University. So one Friday, we had planned it, but I decided to go visit him, and I had been told by my parents, and stuff, and just kind of had a lot of warnings to not not go with a guy in his car, because you don't know where you're going to end up. You don't know if he's actually on the up and up. He might take you out to some field or some woods and do who knows what. You don't want to deal with that. So obviously don't want to deal with that. So I think I knew at the time that he lived with his stepdad or something. But I decided to meet him at his work, which was Wendy's. Great job, I know. But I decided to meet him at his work, and when he got off work, I was going to try to get there around the time that he got off work. And when he got off, I would follow him in my car. He would be in his car. I'd follow him in my car to his house, which turned out to be out in the country, which was a little sketch anyway. But at that point, what do you do? And I even thought as I pulled up behind his car, that when I go into this building, as far as I know, into this house, as far as I know, he could do anything with me. And my car is here, sure, I drove here in my car, but he could get rid of my car, he could do whatever with my car if he does whatever with me, and that was a scary thought, but I went into into the house anyway, and he didn't hurt me, by the way. It was just kind of like all these warnings that I had had, and I was like a little worried, but I was like, well, he seems like an okay guy. Not the best. That was, if you're getting feelings like that, it might be for a reason. You probably should definitely be careful, and with my current husband, I was a little more careful with that situation. We met in a place that wasn't either of our house, and didn't go to each other's houses until like a few dates in at least. And this is the first time I'm seeing this guy, and I follow him to his house and go into his house. So I go into the house, and he's, like I said, he's not the best looking, but I was like, you know what, it's fine. He's probably a great guy. So I ended up staying there that night, which I think I had planned to do because it was like late at night anyway. It was probably like 10 when I met at his work. So I ended up staying the night there, and I know that's probably not the best idea either, and you're probably thinking, oh, so you talked to this guy 2 days, and then you meet him in person for the first time, and you stayed the night with him. That's nice, you stayed the night with him. It wasn't staying the night, I promise you. I think we might have both slept on their couch in the living room, and stepdad's couch or whatever, but we didn't do anything. Maybe kissed. Oh, by the way, he smoked. That was also like, it's the first, and well, not the only, I guess, but the first time that I ever kissed somebody that smoked, and it was disgusting. He actually rolled his own cigarettes, but it was disgusting. So there's that. So gross. Anyway, so we did kiss, but honestly, that's all we did. Promise. Promise. That's all we did. But I think it was that night that his friend ended up coming over, and his friend had a little sister, and something was going on with her, and the little sister was kind of like the Charlie's little sister because they were such close friends, and so they were kind of talking and like how they were gonna do whatever to this person that was messing with his little sister or whatever, and it just, they were drinking, and it was just not the best time for me. I was just kind of watching whatever was on TV at the time, and then his friend ended up leaving. He fell asleep, and I'm just like, oh, this is me. I'm just here at this person's house. He was hanging out with his friend, and now he's like, not necessarily drunk, but very, a decent amount of alcohol, and is just asleep. So this is a great night. We had a great time. So anyway, I was just thinking that and watching TV and watched some show that didn't turn out to be too bad. It was some science fiction show. I don't know what the name of it was, but it wasn't too bad. Probably not something I would have chose to watch, but I digress. Anyway, throughout that night, once he did go and sleep on the couch next to me or whatever, he kept getting up and going to the bathroom to throw up because he had drank so much alcohol. So many red flags. Anyway, and I was, because of the person that I am, I was worried. He kept getting up and going to the bathroom, and I was like, and like throwing up, and I was like, this is kind of like scary that he's like throwing up so much. I really hope he's okay, that he's not gonna like, I don't know, die or something. It was just, it was scaring me or whatever. I don't remember the scenario, all the details, but I know that he kept getting up to throw up, and like a lot. So he told me the next morning, as I'm at his house, that he's like, you know what, I'm sorry about last night. I'm sorry that my friend, all that happened and stuff. I know we were going to hang out. If you hang out today and stay the night again, it'll be just us. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So we ended up going, I don't remember all where we were. We might have went, well, no, we went and got food because I didn't eat like all weekend because they never offered me food. Like his stepdad or whatever, or ex, I'll tell you that scenario in a minute. But that guy had like breakfast and stuff, and it looked good, but we didn't get offered any, or specifically I didn't get offered any, so I didn't have any food at all while I was there. So that was kind of annoying. But what else? So actually the scenario with his mom and the stepdad person, his mom was dating this guy. I don't know if they were even married, but she was at least dating this guy. I guess it was her mom's ex-boyfriend, not stepdad. But they were dating, and then his mom had a, not a seizure, a stroke. That's what it is. His mom had a stroke, and since the stroke, she kind of wasn't completely right. And so she was living in like a nursing home area because she needed the extra help and stuff. So since she moved out and was living in this nursing home, he was living with his mom's ex-boyfriend. It's a weird scenario. But anyway, we went to visit his mom, so I met his mom the first time I met him. We went to the nursing home to meet his mom, and I kind of said hi to her, and he talked to her and stuff, which was really awkward for me, not just because it was his mom, but because, and nothing against older people or people in nursing homes or even disabled people, but I just don't have a lot of experience around that kind of thing. So it was pretty uncomfortable for me. I didn't know what to say or how to say things, and the fact that it was our first time seeing each other pretty much, our second day seeing each other technically, but first time seeing each other, and I'm meeting his mom, who isn't completely stable, I guess. I don't know the word, but for lack of a better word, stable. That was really awkward. So then we left, we went back to his house, we hung out. I don't even remember what all we did, but nothing too, like, nothing physical type thing. Although he did try to do a couple things that I was not comfortable with, and didn't listen to the word no, but we still didn't, like, he didn't end up doing anything. I kind of got him to stop eventually, but he thought it was fun, or like funny, or a joke or whatever, that I was kind of, I think he thought it was like, just kind of be like, no, like flirting or whatever. No, I was not having it. Like he tried to undo my bra, but anyway, I digress. So that happened. I ended up staying the next night. I don't remember what we did. We might have just talked or watched a movie. I don't really remember. Nothing super exciting, nothing too like weird, but I stayed another night. I think we both slept on the couch, and it was just, I don't know, just, I don't want to sound mean, but it was just the guy and the whole scenario of his life. Oh, also, I almost forgot to mention, he had an ex-fiance, I think they were engaged at one point, I don't remember. At least an ex-girlfriend that he had 2 kids with. I did mention this before, but I knew this before I went to his house, that he had this. And while I was there, he told me about them and how he had loved her and stuff, but they both used to do drugs, and then she stopped her. Yeah, more red flags. They both used to do drugs, and then she stopped doing drugs. It was, of course, he more of a mom, and he was still doing drugs, so she took the 2 kids and took off and lived in Pennsylvania. So he hadn't seen the kids since, like, I don't know, maybe 6 months, or like 6 months or so. And so he told me about how he like really missed the kids and wished he could see them. He had a couple pictures he showed me and told me he had really been in love with the girl, but like it didn't work out because of what he had been doing. But he doesn't do drugs now, he just smokes, which is still really gross to me, and he rolled his own cigarettes, and maybe he did do drugs, I don't know. But as far as I knew for sure, he didn't do drugs. All I knew for sure was that he smoked. Just still gross. It's just terrible situation. But anyway, so that's a thing. I knew that he really loved this girl and stuff, but it didn't work out because of his own doing back when that happened. And he hadn't really had contact with any of them since she left. So there's that scenario, and he's told me about that, and told me about how he asked me a few times, and I wanted to say no, but he is like, I know I'm just this terrible guy, I have a terrible background, I've done all this, blah, 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 told me about a lot of fights and different things he'd done, and he was like, I know you probably think I'm a terrible person, and I understand if you don't want to be with me, and I was like, no, you're fine, I really like you and stuff, and I mean, I didn't feel right at the time being like, yeah, you're right, this is pretty crazy, you need to get yourself figured out, and get your life going and not living with your mom's ex-husband in this rickety house and all that jazz and working at Wendy's and smoking and all that stuff. You need to get all that figured out before we were going to date. No, I didn't say that. I was like, oh, that's fine, you're fine. I care about you and I'm willing to continue to date you and stuff. And anyway, gag with the spoon. So, he's telling me about this and stuff this Saturday night, because I went over there Friday night. I was there all day Saturday, and then Saturday night, oh, and by the way, Saturday I was riding with him in the car to go see his mom and wherever else we went. So I did end up riding with him in the car anyway. So that happened. So I stay over Saturday, and then I go home Sunday. It might have been Sunday night by the time I went home. And so then Monday comes around, and he had been texting me like up until like Monday morning. I texted him Monday morning and I didn't hear from him, and like I didn't hear from him all day. I didn't want to be like the annoying person that like constantly texts me, hey, where are you at? Why are you not texting me back? And so I try to wait at least like a couple hours between texting him type thing. Be like, hey, and he didn't say anything back. I texted him a couple hours later, hey, blah, blah, blah. And eventually, I had sent him maybe 2 or 3 texts by then, but it was like later that evening, and he finally texted me back and said, hey, I'm sorry I didn't text you, but my ex showed up with the 2 boys this morning and said she wanted to be together again and to be a family. She wanted me back and wanted to be a family again. Convenient, I know, huh? Anyway, she wanted to be back and she wanted to date again and be a family again. And I'm like thinking, oh, that's nice. And so I just asked him, what are you going to do? Because I knew he liked her and he still loved her and all that jazz. And he wanted, of course, to see the kids. He really seemed like he cared about the kids and her and stuff. And I was like, well, what are you going to do? And he was like, I don't know. Or he texted back, I don't know. So I'm like, okay, well, let me know. And so then I kind of texted him a little bit on and off throughout the week. And most of the times I would text him, he'd tell me that I either needed to stop texting him so much or something. Tell me I needed to calm down, which I wasn't like freaking out. I was just like trying to figure out what was going on because he wasn't texting me at all. He wasn't texting me hi or like texting me like at all. The only time he texted me was to tell me to stop texting him so much, like because I was texting him too much or something. Or he would like tell me, well, I'm watching the kids, or hey, I'm doing this with her and with the kids, and just act like I was being some kind of crazy person for wanting to text him. And I think we were technically official by that point. I think he asked me to be his girlfriend or something over the weekend. And so I'm like, as his girlfriend, I feel like I should know what's going on. I wasn't like texting him every other minute, but I wanted to know what was going on. I at least wanted to text him and be like, hey, how are you? And like have a normal conversation. And so every couple hours or whatever, maybe I would text him. I feel like that's not a whole lot, just to see what's going on and like try to maybe have a conversation. I wouldn't ask a whole lot like what he's doing or like what his decision is. I just kind of tried to text him. Maybe we would have just a normal conversation type thing because we had texted a lot before then. So I got to be the end of the week, and I kind of was still, every once in a while I would ask him, maybe like once or twice a day, I would ask him if he had made a decision yet. And by that Friday he hadn't made a decision on whether he was going to go with this girl or whether he was going to go with me. And if he's spending this whole week with this other girl and with the 2 kids that they have together, and we're technically together, and he hasn't decided who he wants to be with yet, and he rarely ever texts me, I need to make a decision. Somebody needs to make a decision. So that Friday, I texted him. It might have been Saturday of like the week after we had hung out that weekend. And like I said, we didn't do anything the weekend besides like kiss. And like I said, it tasted gross because he smokes. But we didn't really do anything that weekend besides kiss. And I mean, he tried a couple other things, but nothing happened. So by that Friday, I was like, okay, so you aren't making a decision, and I need to know what's going on because I don't know what's going on your end. And now that I think of it, at that point, they were probably doing stuff that day. Like, him and her were doing stuff. Somebody else used that for something, but they're probably doing stuff. So, meanwhile, I'm over here and he's telling me that I need to calm down and stop texting so much and blah blah blah, while he's doing stuff with this girl over here and spending time with her and playing house and stuff. So, Friday I'm like, okay, you can't make a decision, so I'm going to make a decision. You go with her, you can have her or not have her, whatever, but we're going to be done because I need to know what's going on, and if you are making a decision, I need to make a decision for myself, so I don't have to wonder whether or not who you're going to be with. I can just decide that you can be with her and I can live my life, whatever. So that's what happened, and I think he was frustrated or whatever, but I haven't seen or heard from him since. I don't think he ever texted me again, but it was just all kinds of crazy. So yeah, that's not a scenario I was proud of, but he was, yeah. It makes for a good story, I guess. I hope I told it well enough. I was kind of everywhere, I think, but that's the story of the time that I ignored all the red flags. I'll try to do a story time every week. I have to think of a couple others. I'm sure I have others, but yeah. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Happy Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. I think I'm going to get up today or tomorrow. So, see you later. See you in the next story time.